By spring, Anne had moved away, 10 hours away. Within several years, Mr. Flynn was. Some years later, my husband and I visited Anne and her family in Mississippi. As Anne and I walked through her yard, I saw a small patch of zinnias. Remember Mr. Flynn's zinnias, I asked? Anne laughed. These are from Mr. Flynn's zinnias, she said. Do you still have some? I was ashamed to admit that mine had fizzled out. I had been less diligent than she in keeping each year. We'll just have to send you home with some seeds, Anne said. A single seed goes a long way, I thought. It can carry flowers and joy from North Carolina to Mississippi and back to North Carolina again. Not only had our friendship endured Anne's move, but so had Mr. Flynn's zinnias and our memory of this gentle man. These were surely friendship flowers. So it just kind of encourages you, sharing seeds, sharing flowers and plants is just a great way to keep a friendship going and also our gardens going. So I guess let's vote. Is somebody really interested in doing something like this every meeting, or do you guys prefer to rotate and have people just sign up to do one for the next meeting? How many people want to just do one person sign up?
Wait a minute.
I mean, one person sign up for, and then one person sign up for each meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
11 people.
Right. And actually now we just need 10. So does somebody want to make a proposal that we do lessons in the garden, rotate?
I'll make that proposal.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, great. So come see me if you want to sign up for this next February meeting, okay? Great. So the next thing, and we can decide if we don't like this, but I inherited a giant tub of scrapbooks and yearbooks going back to 1935. So I thought it might be fun to do a little thing each meeting on our history and just kind of see what's been going on throughout the years. So you'll see up here, there's a display of plaques and awards that we've gotten over the years. But I wanted to start we started in 1928, but the very first record I have is all the way back from 1935. So pretty long time ago. So I just wanted to share a couple things from this. In this little yearbook, it shows who the members were. There were 20. And I just got a kick out of this because the telephone numbers are off to the side. They go from 2-digit to 4-digit.
Because we went
I
to
thought
dial
that was so cool. So their president at that time was Mrs. R.C. Dady, Vice President Mrs. W.A. Rogers, Secretary Mrs. C.W. Allen, Treasurer Mrs. R.M. Rimmer. Programs were Mrs. T.W. Angel and Mrs. C.W. Allen. And then the flower show was Miss Mary Willis, Mrs. R.M. Rimmer, and Mrs. Frank Higdon.
Did you notice how the young'un acted like we're supposed to know who they are?
Yeah.
Well, some of them I know the name.
Well,
I
you
recognize the
might know
Higdons.
Yeah.
Higdon.
So one of the things that I also saw in here was what the dues amount were.
Oh, Lord.
So dues at that time were 50 cents a year.
Oh, my God.
So, and then the other thing that I thought was really interesting was they actually had an attendance requirement in the bylaws. And it was quite harsh for a club. Any member absent for 2 consecutive meetings shall be notified of the club's intention to drop her name from the membership after a 3rd absence, unless said member shall produce a legitimate and reasonable excuse for
Sounds like
such
school day.
action. So, so it was a pretty harsh consequence if you didn't come to a voluntary club meeting. So last thing I wanted to mention was flower of the club at that time was the marigold. And the motto of the club shall be, do the best you can with what you have wherever you are. And that was a quote from Theodore Roosevelt.
All right.
Do we still have a club flower? Is it still the marigold?
No, it was it went to the
Dogwood, North
What year, I
Carolina.
don't know.
North
Yeah,
Carolina
I
adopted
I
it.
haven't found that in the records,
I'm
but
sure it'll-
that would be something that could
Bluebird
potentially
and
pop up,
dogwood.
yeah.
Bluebird,
Bluebird.
okay. we need to
Bluebird
look
and
at that.
dogwood.
Yeah, so, do you guys like the idea of doing a little history lesson? Okay. Is there anybody who's really interested in history and would like to inherit this big tub?
Bluebird.
So if you are, let me know afterwards, okay? And I'll talk with you more about that. All right, so our next thing is Shirley, you want to do a little in the garden this month?
Right. Okay, it's January, so what do we talk about? Bulbs. It's time to plant them for the new year. And you can plant any kind of bulb you want. And I don't care what they say, I do it all the time. I even plant amaryllis. And what you do, when you plant it, you put plastic down over it. The key to keeping a bulb alive is to not let it get wet. And if it don't get wet and it gets cold, it's still good. I do them all the time. My amaryllis just come up here. And the best time to buy them right now is this time. I had a killer deal. They had alums, they had tulips and daffodils, amaryllis. And they were 75% off.
Do they still have
No,
one?
no, I cleaned them out.
Like she don't have
That's why she
enough.
said they had.
So you cover all the bulbs?
No.
No,
The only bulbs
just,
you have to cover is the ones that will
the new-
die in the winter time.
Okay. Oh,
If they get wet, they'll rot.
Okay.
But you take your tulips, your crocus, your daffodils, paper whites, gladolias, hyacinths, cannas, and snowdrops, and they'll come back.
okay,
It don't matter how wet they get.
okay.
Year after year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mine are rotting, my tulips rotting.
Days are coming back.
Yeah, but you have to cover them up, because if it you better cover them. If it gets really cold and it goes down in the teens, but you never went down in the teens yet.
Last year we did. Yeah.
Well, it was 19 the other day.
Well, you looked up,
Depends on
let's
where
not
it's at,
bring
though.
before it got so
Yeah.
bad. But that's the key.
Okay.
Where to buy all these things now?
Well,
Walmart's is a good place.
And all
I
mine.
tried, I went to Waynesville and I tried the Tractor Supply over there and somebody's like me.
Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace advertised, I don't think they have a good sell as Tractor Supply.
Do you have a
Not
specific
75 off.
place online that you order from?
No, because you usually have to pay shipping and that ruins stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Sales,
does,
you're
it
like, how
does.
much is shipping?
Yeah.
I've been using Amazon, and I could find them on there.
Amazon?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got,
Free shipping
probably
too.
the best daffodil bulbs I've had this year from someplace in New Jersey.
Wow.
It was on Amazon.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tractor Supply had them, I mean, they had some nice stuff, they had alums and everything.
Well, thank you for telling us after you bought it.
Well, find another Tractor Supply, George, George.
Silver, there's one in silver.
That's the one I went to.
Oh, okay, okay.
Fill it out.
I work at Lowe's in the garden center, so I can definitely like update people if I have like a mailing list of when we're getting stuff in and what's on sale.
My name's Bill Booch, I'll tell you down the road, if you would email me, I can post it on our membership page.
Okay, awesome, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes, I can let you guys know when we start getting our stuff.
Wait,
Oh, excuse me.
that's my presentation.
Back off, yeah.
But I do like to experiment when I buy flowers and all to see what they'll do. And people on Google and all don't know, they don't live here.
Yeah.
They were saying you had to dig gladolias up. I said, no, you don't. I know I don't dig mine up. And so you have to really know and experiment and play with it. And 2 years ago, I bought a canna. And I do not dig my cannas up. And it said on there to dig them up. And I thought, why?
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
they're wrong. That was a new cannon, and you have to dig it up or put the plastic over it. When the next year,
Okay.
I barely had a little bitty piece left, just luck, and I said, oh, they're right. So you never know what they're gonna come up with. That's a new cannon bulb, a new name, everything.
Shirley, dumb question. Are you only putting the plastic over when you plant them? You don't put the plastic over every year, do you?
No,
Yeah,
every
you
year.
have to.
At winter time.
Yeah, I never dig my dahlias up, and everybody
I know that, okay.
digs theirs up mostly.
And then
I've
something
lost
you
a
can
lot,
do.
cause I had to learn to cover the dahlias up.
Okay.
Well, I have a question about the canvas. If you're getting some of the old
Yeah,
school,
a
Yeah.
little travel.
do they have to be done?
No, no, it's just that new one I bought 2 years ago, it's beautiful, and I thought, ooh, I'm gonna remember to cover him up every year.
And you just cover, you just cut it back to how far? To the
Just cut it dead to the ground, and then put you some plastic on, you can take a garbage bag or an English bag or anything, just to keep that water off it, and then put you some mulch on top. And, that helps it, and it's not gonna die, it's gonna be dry under there. And as long as it don't get wet, and that's the plastic part.
Elements, they don't like, a lot of some, they like being
Yeah,
on the bank.
right. You learn every year about you flowers, yeah, but what they want, but amaryllis, everybody goes, you can't leave amaryllis. I said, you can. I've had some out in my yard 10, 15 years, and they come back every year. And they get climatized as too. They they get climatized, and they'll come back. They will. I bought Tractor Supply out and then.
We're gonna have to put a limit on you.
They're the most expensive bulb out there.
Mm.
Some of them I saw in stores for $25, and Tractor Supply had it for $7.99. Best deal I'd seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's the best. But,
Japanese irises.
just experiment, go out and see what, maybe you plant something in an area where it's covered overhead or something that's gonna keep it alive. You never know. I like to experiment and see
I
what
got
they'll
one of
do.
those.
But, when you plant bulbs, especially this time of year, put you some, praying, some weed stuff down. And Buddy, it'll keep them off of them bulbs. Yeah, the weeds will, they won't be there. Yeah, it'll keep them at bay. So anyway, have fun in your gardens.
All right, thank you, Shirley. All right, so just a couple quick updates on what's been going on the last couple months in the different gardens. So has anybody driven by the rock garden? Does everybody know where that is? Okay, so anybody know where Lamplighter Realty is? Okay, so there's a little well, it's pretty big actually.
Triangular.
There's a triangular shape. It's Rogers Street and Northeast Main and Main. So it's surrounded by those three streets. It's really a drainage area. So it's owned by the state, but the state wasn't keeping it up. So the town just took it upon themselves to say this is an eyesore because it's as you're coming into downtown from that direction. So they asked if we would do something. Gypsy came up with a great idea because there's no parking around there, and it's not really a very convenient place for us to get in and work, about turning it into a wildflower garden. So in December, we went out, Men's Challenge met us there. Thank goodness, they were great. They raked it all up, they trimmed it all up. Gypsy and I were out there with them, and then Martha and I were out there with Men's Challenge while Gypsy was having fun in Washington State with her family. And they pulled up all the old landscape and fabric, and then Martha and I threw out 8 pounds of wildflower seeds on both sides and covered it with seeding straw. So hopefully this coming year we will have beautiful wildflowers down each side, and then there is a bunch of irises and all kinds of stuff up towards the front that need to be divided. So our plan is there's little patches along the sides too, but there's no they're just kind of here and there. So the idea in the spring is that we'll go and divide those, and then we'll put all the way down both sides will be those irises and things, and then the wildflowers on the other side of them. So we're excited about that. Hopefully we might eventually get some birdhouses in there.
Good thing about those irises and lilies that are there, they're huge clumps. So not only will we be able to put them in different, relocate them there, we will have enough, I believe, to sell some at our April plant sale. So while we're doing
Color what we've done with all them purples we have.
in the garden. Yeah. We dug them up, put them in bags, we had them everywhere in them
Oh,
papers
yeah.
on the crop. And you ought to see everybody.
Well, these, I don't know if they're, I think they may be yellow,
These are the yellow
but,
ones.
the yellow ones that we,
They're tiger
they're
lilies.
just, I can't begin to tell you, I mean, there are clumps as big as this table. I
Yeah.
mean, they're huge, and we really need to, make more sense out of that area. It's kinda haphazard, and I don't know who planted them, but they just like, put it there, put it,
Yeah.
one over there, you know?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Yeah.
And there's beautiful knockouts there. There's
Yeah,
weeping.
and some weeping
It's all right.
trees that we cut.
Yeah.
All right, so for Rankin Square, we already talked about the pergola
looked at
having
it, I was like, but
decorations.
Could you
Claire
kinda
and
look at it?
Brenda
It's a
are
little darker and one a little
co-chairing,
lighter
and it didn't get on the membership form. But Brenda and Claire are co-chairing doing the decorating for holidays and different seasons. So if you are interested in helping out with that, let Claire know. And we'll be asking throughout the year with whatever they come up with, we'll be asking, if anybody has those things on hand, so we're not buying everything, instead looking for donations. So that's one big thing in Rankin Square. The other thing was, we didn't have any working lights in Rankin Square, and that's because the transformer was shot. So we got a new transformer, and thank you to Claire's husband for putting it in for us. We went ahead and upgraded from 150 watt to a 300 watt because we're really hoping that this next year, in addition to having the landscaping lights, going up on buildings and trees, we're really hoping to maybe do some low wattage landscaping fairy lights wrapping around some of the trees that would be year round. So we want to make sure our transformer could handle those extra lights. If that's something that will happen at the next meeting, that'll be a proposal for the next fiscal year. So that was Rankin Square, and then in the clock tower, there's the tree. In the fall, we had the scarecrows, and they seem to really have gone over well as photo ops. So Mary Ellen, you're going to talk about our idea with pictures. Okay. So the other thing that was happening in Clock Tower, and we'll talk about this when Joanne gets to the proposed budget for January through June, but that big oak tree in Clock Tower drops over a foot of leaves every fall, and it goes for about 3 months. So my husband and I went down there. We went ahead and bought two. Have anybody seen these leaf blowers / vacuum / mulchers?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 of those for the garden club, and so my husband and I went down and mulched the leaves that were there and put them back in. Well, there's no on top of that, so that's one of the things we need to do is deal with the new leaves that have come down since. So that will hopefully, though, help us a little bit to have those mulchers where we can at least utilize some of those leaves to add nutrients back into our garden, but not smother our garden. So those are the things that have been happening. Does anybody else have any old business I'm missing? That was all I had for old business right now. Okay.
But I do want to bring up, did anybody get to go down there during Christmas and see how good ours looked?
Yes.
To complement what the city had done. And we got a lot of compliments from the community. I just wanted to thank everybody.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah. And we were able to partner with Read to Me the first night of Winter Wonderland. Second night was horrible weather, so we just canceled. But that first night, they brought their wagon of books, and we had some candy canes, and Claire and myself and Brenda and our husbands who are, what did my husband said? He is what do they call it for the Legion? The spouses are called.
Auxiliary.
Yes, he's an auxiliary garden member,
okay.
as is Brenda's husband and Claire's husband. So they have been roped into many tasks.
There's nothing that says they can't join.
That is true.
I want to say something about the benefit of going down there when the decorations are there and working in the garden, which is like when we have Winter Fest, we go down and be in the gardens. You get so many thank yous.
Yes, you
from
do.
The visitors. And
Yes, you
I'm
do.
so proud to be a member of the club because I see people walking up and down Main Street, they're sitting on the benches, drinking their coffee, and they're talking about the sweet town, and they say, oh, I wish I lived here. We're gonna go look for one of them. Anyway, it is good, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
Yep.
for sure. So our first order of business is, if you look on the agenda for new business, is meeting location and time. Gypsy, do you want to quickly explain, or do you want me to just say why?
Go
So
ahead.
Gypsy got contacted after the November meeting from Fat Buddies, and they said that they had some new restrictions and on our meeting and what we have to do. So first, they're telling us no one can order off the children's menu anymore, or sides only, correct?
Yeah, or sides only, yeah.
So we have to have a minimum of 20 people here ordering meals, or if we don't meet that criteria, then we have to pay $100 to use this room for our 1.5, 2-hour meeting. So clearly, we don't have $1,100, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that don't necessarily want to have to buy a full meal.
We have it, we just don't want to spend it that way.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, let's put it this way.
Well, it would mean that we wouldn't get to do some of
Do
the
some
things
of our
in
other
the garden
items,
that we
yes.
would want to do. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. So, so I went ahead and did some checking at some different options in town. One of which is the library. It's free. They have a great room there. The biggest drawback to the library is we can only reserve 45 days out, which means we can't schedule for the whole year. So the other option is the community center that's across from Ingalls on Georgia Road. Has anybody been at a meeting in that very front conference room? If you go left and it's the first door on the left. Super nice room. The chairs are comfy. They're nice padded desk chairs with arms. That room can hold up to 30 people. If we have more than 30, then there's lots of other rooms that would be options at the community center. That one for a nonprofit is $15 an hour, 2-hour minimum, so it cost us $30 a month. The other thing that is really nice is that room has a projector. So I can bring the laptop, we can project the agenda, we can project the minutes, we can project anything we need to throughout the meeting. So we're not having to worry about a lot of paper stuff, but everybody is able to see what's going on. So that,
Bring snacks.
yeah, they asked that we don't do lunch in there because it is carpeted and they've had a lot of issues with people having lunches and then having to clean the carpets. So what the executive committee would like to do is propose that we switch the meetings to the community center. I can schedule for the whole year so we can actually publish. It is this date at the community center every month. And then the other thing we would like to propose is that we move it from a lunch meeting to 10 a.m. And that way it's not super early, but people have the rest of their day. We can decide if we want snacks. We can, do a sign-up sheet and people bring snacks. I've got to call into him, but I haven't heard back yet to see if they have a coffee urn we can use so we could provide coffee, but certainly people can bring water, coffee, whatever. So that is the executive committee's proposal, is that we move to the community center at 10 a.m. the first Monday of the month unless there's a holiday. So does anybody want to?
Do you want to make that as your proposal?
Yes, that is my motion.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is there anybody that has a question about the time? Oh, okay. Okay.
Class at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
so do I.
Okay,
would you propose 11? Is 11 good for you?
11's better.
okay.
But I understand why you're doing that, because we're not eating lunch.
Right, right.
That's just me.
Well, and what we were thinking of, if we did a morning meeting, and if anybody wants to go to lunch, you're already together, you can go meet, for lunch wherever.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So, because we'd be done by 12:30, so it'd just be a late lunch. So,
Would that not be better too for weather? I mean, if you
It
have
could be,
11,
yeah,
15,
yeah,
it might give it more
yeah.
time to get the national park.
So do we want to adjust, I'll have to double check with him and make sure that we can use that room from 11 to 1. The only other, he said the only other people, the first Monday of the month that sometimes use it is Amazon for interviews. And I'll just ask if they can move it to another
Sure,
room.
sure.
If we get on the schedule first, hopefully, then
Yeah, they're
we're good to
getting-
go.
yeah, they're
But
getting-
even if they use that room, they'll just move us to another room. So we'll still be there somewhere. It just might be a different room.
And this will begin in
So,
February.
That'll be for February, so
11
I'll
a.m.
make the motion that we move to the community center from 11 to, well, we'll have it, 11 to 1, but 11 to would be the meeting time. So do we have a second? Okay,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
all right, great. We have a new location and we will publicize that to everyone, but just plan on next meeting, we'll be there. All right, so you see that down at the bottom of your agenda are the program topics for this year. This is based primarily on the survey. Thank you to everyone that did complete the online survey. I think we got 18 responses. One person responded twice.
Okay, here I am.
And here's the kicker, different
She had
answers on
different
both.
answers.
Changed my mind.
So anyway, these were based on, Brenda had come up with a few ideas last year that we weren't able to do, and then the rest of these were all based on the answers from the people that did fill out the survey. So we do already have 3 guest speakers who, and Shirley, I haven't gotten with you yet to see which one you want to do.
You're gonna do one.
You had a question mark next to your name. So what we would really like to do, we have a lot of people in this group who have a lot of collective gardening knowledge and wisdom. So what we'd really like to do is draw first from our own members to speak on these topics. And I do want you to know this is not completely a new idea, because when I looked at that little 1935 yearbook, at least half the guest speakers were members. So it is something that has been traditionally done in the garden club. So we'd like to do that again this year. So the only topics right now that I definitely have
Going back to
covered-
our roots, so to speak.
That's right, yep. So,
Unintended.
in March, Mapping Your Garden, Mary Ellen has already signed up to do that one and teach us how to lay out our, gardens on paper. In July, Martha, and she would like to ask for maybe you to help her with this one too. Martha is gonna do plant propagation and division. And let me tell you what, Martha, like, you go to her house, it is covered in begonias and Christmas cactus, and she just, takes her cuttings and redoes them, and she's just got tons of them. So, I'm sure there are a lot of us that would like to be able to, grow more plants from our current plants. And then Gypsy has, and I have been in Gypsy's shed to see her seed collection. She's gonna talk in September about saving seeds and wildflowers. She's got a massive wildflower garden and a bunch of boxes of seeds that she's saved over the years from deadheading things. So those are the 3 months that we currently have covered. If there is a topic on that list that you would like to be able to share your knowledge about, just let me know. We are not talking like you have to put together a 30-minute PowerPoint or anything like that. We're talking about 15, 20 minutes tops, whatever you want to share. So don't be intimidated. It's really just letting us know what you know about that topic.
And by the way, we have great resources in our gardens for safe and repropagating and seeding, taking seeds. When we cut back, that's where I got a lot of mine, was cutting back over this past year in the garden and saving and letting the seed heads die. So you have a lot of
And
areas that we
I'm
can.
saving seeds for the first time, and I have no idea what they are because
Uh-oh.
Martha and I were working down in the gardens one day, and she just came up to me with an empty container and said, "Here's a bunch of, deadheads that I cut for you." And she probably told me, "I'm sure you did," and I didn't remember. I didn't write it down.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, "Hey, we'll just see what
Stick in the
comes
ground,
up."
see what.
Yeah. And then you still end up buying more seeds anyway.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I might do mapping out your garden.
That's already
That
done.
one's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
very,
Which one open y'all have?
If you're really, really big on seeds, join the groups online. I belong to.
These
are the one over
Those
those are
You
the-
get
Yeah,
every
you
seed
know a
from
lot about
every
native
state.
plants.
Yeah,
Just
my wife
walk
know a lot
inside.
about
Yeah,
the natives.
that's
I should
awesome.
get her to do
That's
it.
awesome.
plants,
Well, we'll maybe
flowers,
have you
attracting
come up with a
pollinators.
list
Yeah,
during that one.
I should do that one. Let her
I
teach
collected
that
them
one.
in
All right.
Master Garden
That'd be a
House.
good one.
I put them in brown paper bags, labeled
Label
them,
them.
I pretty much knew what they were.
Yeah.
Lined them all up along my glass doors and went to Florida. So when I just come back, they're gonna be for their plant sale, but they're all ready. And then one year I made seed bombs. Have you ever done that with clay?
Yes,
They're
yeah.
awesome.
Baby bombs.
Oh,
It's
that's
fun to
cool.
do, and
Uh-huh.
you just toss them out in your garden.
And they're great for
They're great.
Well,
Yeah.
that brings up something that I was gonna
I could
suggest,
probably do
and we won't talk about it
this
in
one
depth
and
today,
that
but
one. I
be
get my
thinking
wife to
about
do
it,
that
is that
one. And I
maybe
do-
at our
do this
plant
one at my
sale,
farm or
we
something
would
like
want
that.
to do bags
Too
of
as well.
seeds, or like the seed bombs, those
If
would be
everybody
great.
wanna come out
It's
that
the
day,
day before
I can set up
Mother's
some
Day.
tables, 'cause
We
it'll be
need to be
warm.
thinking about
Vegetables.
Mother's
Yeah,
Day type
vegetables.
gifts, and
Then
advertising
I can see
it
if
as
my
such.
wife
Hey, did
wanna
you not
do
get your
the
mother
native
her present
flower
yet?
on
Come to the
floor
plant
work.
sale. We
But I'll
have some
take this
really
home
cool-
though.
cool,
Here, let me just
presents.
mark mine. I'm sorry.
So, you will see at the, oh no, it's not in here, it's in here. So this again is from the survey. Some of the possible field trips and special events this year are a trip to the North Carolina Arboretum, North Carolina Botanical Gardens, both of which are in Asheville. This is not a possibility, this is a for sure, because I know there's a lot of people who are not sure what plants we have in our gardens, what's weeds, what's not, and they're a little bit leery about pulling something not knowing. So once Gypsy and I get that whole mapped out, we plan on doing a tour of our gardens, of our Rankin and Clock Tower, and let everybody know, and Shirley's gonna be a big part of plant and weed identification for us.
The only,
So, we're gonna just make sure everybody has the opportunity to go through, learn what things are called, what's weeds, and so they have confidence when they're going down and pulling weeds.
well, I'm gonna tell you a little, and Shirley walks up to me and says, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm weeding." She said, "Those aren't weeds." So I learned it today for sure.
Yeah.
Is and is not.
And we, as part of that mapping, I know a lot of the little signs, identifiers are gone.
Yeah, well, there's a whole,
So we
there's
need
a
to,
whole bucket of,
yeah, we
No, we
need,
spent
them
a
in the-
fortune. We had every plant in our label.
Yep.
And first, they thought it was fun to switch them. They would put a daylily over on a cannon.
God,
Who's doing that? And
Bored
then one day
teenagers.
we'd just go find them, just throw it in a pile. So it was.
boredom, yeah.
yeah.
Took 'em out.
Well, if we decide to do that, we do have a giant bucket in the shed of the old ones. Another idea is tea party in the gardens. One of our goals this year is to really, and this is part of the decoration, is to really get the community to understand these are their gardens and we want them to use them. So having some of our own activities where the members come, maybe have a tea party, that gives our presence. They can maybe ask, hey, what are you guys doing? Would you like to join, become a member?
Where you want to host that at now, the tea party?
It would be in one of the gardens.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I help that then.
yeah. So then another one is art in the garden. So maybe partnering with Uptown Gallery and, setting up our easels in the garden and learning how to draw, a tree or whatever. And then Gypsy came up with an idea that I love because we want to, again, get the community involved. And we want the kids and the young families to start to participate in caring for their community gardens. So it's having a kids' day in the garden.
I usually do a kids garden play every year.
Okay.
Like basically like, it's like I invite a bunch of kids out to plant that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of like make it like a little event that, hey, here go your flower that you gonna plant, and they can put their name by it.
And see, we would
Yeah.
like to do that
Yeah.
in the garden.
Yeah, in the gardens. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying.
that way,
And maybe take one home. so
yeah,
they can
take
plant in
some
their
home.
yard. That way they
Yeah.
have the connection.
yeah.
And they put their name by it, and they can walk by downtown like, hey, there go my little flower or whatever they
Yeah.
planted.
You could also do the seed bomb ideas as a craft.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ordered the clay online.
Has anybody seen the picture on Facebook that we had posted? Gypsy and I and Josh and Avery were down there, and we found a painted rock. Did everybody see that on
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah.
I meant to pick it up the other day when I was down there doing leaves. I found a painted rock at the base of one of the park benches in the clock tower, and it had clearly been painted by a child. And I was like, oh, I want to pick that up and take a picture and put it on our Facebook. But it was really cute to see, because I'm sure they saw that other picture and said, I want to do that. So I had a neighbor in South Carolina who had a corner lot and created a kindness garden. It was a rock garden with painted rocks. And they had a little basket of unpainted rocks sitting there as well. So there was a little plaque explaining what this garden area was. And then a little sign saying, take a rock, paint it, bring it back, and add it to the kindness garden. And we thought, well, maybe that would be something we would want to incorporate into Rankin Square and encourage the community to add their painted rocks to our garden. So, so if that's an idea you guys like, that might be something to add to the kids' day as well. Paint a rock while you're here and leave it in our garden.
Yeah, I like that.
So.
Easter egg, when it's a rock.
All right, so those are, if you are interested in being the chairman of special events and field trips, we do not have anyone currently. Or if you just want to be on the committee, if you don't want to be in charge, but you're interested in helping with it, make sure that you have it on your membership form. And if you want to be in charge, just let Claire know and she'll add that you're interested in actually chairing it, okay? So for committees, we've already kind of talked about a lot of them. We're looking for, Gypsy and Shirley are in charge of garden planting and beautification. If you're interested in being on that committee, just let one of them know, but definitely check it on here. Sharon has agreed to do our meeting raffles. We would like to start having the meeting raffles really pertain to gardening in some way, whether it's plants, whether it's flowers. It could be vegetables from your garden, eggs, anything, I brought some note cards today that have a flower and butterfly on them. So things like that are okay too, but just we want to try to make them garden related in some way.
Yeah.
Plant sale, we do not currently have a chair for the plant sale. If you're interested, again, mark chair on here, but if you just want to be on the planning committee, make sure you check that off.
And when is that plant?
It's going to be May 11th.
May 11th.
We also need somebody who is interested in doing publicity for us, just making sure that the meeting gets out to,
New
you want to
people.
do that too?
Because I call anything.
Okay, great. So we're covered there. If you are interested when you're down in the gardens or at a meeting, special event, if you like to take pictures, take some pictures, make sure you send them to Mary Ellen and she will put our post together and get that on our Facebook page. So if you are interested in doing lessons from the garden next month, please let me know. And also, if anybody here has either themselves knowledge about growing and preserving herbs or knows someone that would be a good guest speaker, let me know. We don't have next month's guest speaker yet.
I'll look for somebody for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right.
All righty. So, Mary Ellen, you're up.
I'm up. Well, no. As most of you know, I'm a visual person, so I put together a PowerPoint. And of course, it doesn't work. So,
Oh,
I'm gonna have Sandy I know.
Yeah, why don't you
The
stand between
other herbs.
Claire
Well, I'm
and,
gonna just put that. Here, you wanna come and next to me? All right. So you don't get to-
Here, this works.
yep,
Yeah.
All right, Sandy, there's two little arrows down there.
Yeah, I know why we need a projector now.
Yeah.
Right there.
Or what, they must not have a US HDMI.
But yeah, you'd think like every restaurant to upgrade to a projector or something like, well, like
You
me.
got your HDMI.
Yeah,
To go from
yeah, to
there
go
to
in
there.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so, social media, primarily, I think a lot of our advertising will be done on our Facebook page. Sandy just said too, if we do go to the rec center, they have that electric board.
oh, awesome, yeah,
That's
And
true.
have them
On the
advertise
outside.
our meetings.
that's
True.
great,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, ask them
Now
about
if
that.
you click, and I also have it on my phone, so I will hold my phone up too if you want. Just give me 1 minute.
Right, one high.
If you're looking at that second picture, that's what our Facebook page looks like, okay? The Franklin, North Carolina
Oh, Frank.
Garden Club. We added the North Carolina because there's several Franklins.
Right.
All right, click. The next one shows, I don't know if you can see down in the circle at the bottom, there's two things you need to do. A lot of you like the posts, that's great, but what we really need you to do is to share the post, okay? And share it to your friends and your followers. The reason being is our followers then will go up and in the logarithm, algorithm, we will rise in the midst of all the Franklin Garden Clubs and show up first. So make sure you do that for us. Next. On the top is the post that says it's all about the membership, because we need to grow our membership. We need more friends and family joining us. And if you look on that, you'll see a HTTP. If they click on that or go to the first comment on that page, it goes directly to our membership application. So they can download it, fill it out, come to a meeting. and
That one
join us.
actually will go to the online app, so they just submit it right on the internet,
Oh, it does go, okay.
yeah.
So, and then the membership will be able to use that. The next one is, you can see that's the app. If you hit comments, the top comment will show you where the, will bring you to that application. Okay, the other thing which was interesting, I thought, see, who's that over there? So if you, yes, click it again. There. So if you look down at the bottom of the post that I will be posting, or one of the other people who are authorized to post on here, down here at the bottom it says share. So that's where not only you're gonna like it, but you're gonna click on share and share it to all your friends. It'll go on your page, okay? And it's real important, if you click on the next one, you will see that I'm a friend of Making Media News, some of you might be too. Well, I shared that, and he picked it up and posted it on his page. He has over, I don't know.
A
A
lot.
lot of followers.
And he wrote, here's your chance to join a group of people who volunteer their time to beautify Franklin. So that's why it's important that you share everything from that page.
Yeah.
Share.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. It's all the women in there.
Now, get
Yeah.
to the post.
Used to saying yes, ma'am.
I reorganized our Facebook page. Thankfully, Gypsy posted a lot of pictures on her Facebook page. I went up to friends with her, so I went copied her pictures and put them on our Franklin Garden Club page. What I also did was add them to albums. And the reason why that is, because I also do the Uptown Gallery one, there's over 2,000 pictures on there. So if you don't, if people who post on our page don't put it in an album, when I want to see what happened at the plant, or when I want to see how we decorated last fall, I have to look through 2,000 pictures to find that, which you can do. But if you can go to the fall decor, or the decorations, I think I put, if you go there, you'll see what we did year after year for Fall Festival, Pumpkin Festival, Winter Fest, other stuff, okay? So I think that's real important. If you would do that, that would be wonderful.
We also want to really have it be educational, so she's getting lots of folders that'll be on different topics.
Yeah.
That if you want to know about plant propagation, go look for that folder.
It really works though, cause like I do that myself, and you'd be like, man, I was ahead of the game like 2 years ago, or it snowed this year and I started late. You know, it kind of helps out a little bit too as well, like saving pictures and putting them in folders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does make a big difference. How many people here actually have a Facebook account?
I was gonna get yours after we
If
left.
anyone needs help setting one up on your phone, on your computer, let me know. I can meet with you and we can do it. It's not that hard. This is how you share a post. Now, if you, Gypsy's gonna post a picture of her scarecrows, okay, on her page,
Yeah.
when she was down the gallery. So she puts it there. Then you look on, what you're gonna do is, down here, you're gonna tab,
They can't do it. That might give us-
Well, my post, I put Franklin Garden Club, and it automatically comes up and tags the Franklin.
That's right, but in case you don't know how to do that, if you load up a picture and you go down to the bottom, you will see an icon that is a red pin. It's like this. It's like a balloon, only without the basket, an air balloon, and it's red. If you click on that, it opens up and you can either type Mary Ellen Tully, then I am tagged and I know to take your pictures and put it on the garden club. The garden club does not come up yet. But if you tag Franklin, North Carolina, it will post and I'll be able to see it also. So we can put it back onto, hopefully the Franklin Garden Club eventually will have it so it goes to that direction. But look for the little icon down at the bottom.
You're saying you can't do at Franklin NC Garden Club right now for
I
a
can't,
tag?
no, it hasn't come up, it doesn't come up.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Yeah, I know, but I just wanted you to know, even if you put Franklin for right now, we'll still see it and we'll be able to put it on our page.
Well, we could also tag you, Mary Ellen Tully.
Right, you can always tag me and I will copy it and paste it on our page, okay?
We got a garden group, right? Like a Facebook garden group.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, wait, that's.
I think you added me, didn't?
So,
I gotta
or
look it
if
up.
you take pictures down the garden and you wanna send them to me, feel free to email them, text me, whatever you want, just send them to me and I will put them on there if you don't feel comfortable enough. And I'll sometimes tag people with like a little blurb, you can see right there. The albums have specific information, so let's say I posted how to take care of amaryllis, not outside, inside. And you wanna know how to do it, if you go to our albums, which is, you click on the picture. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, we'll catch up. Yep, there's Mary Ellen and my phone number, feel free to text or call me and say you're coming. So I posted this dahlia. I didn't really, but I did for example. Then I went up here and you're gonna click on the album. So if you post anything on the Garden Club page, go to the album. And what would you put that under? I have so far 10 categories. One might be propagation, one might be flowers in the garden, which is probably where I put that because that's where I took the picture from. Okay? And those are all the 10, you can look yourself and not to go through them. categories so far. Now, if you want to find, let's say you said, oh, where'd that Amaryllis thing go that Mary Ellen posted or the Garden Club posted? Yes. You're gonna go to our page, okay, which has these beautiful lilies that somebody put there. And you're gonna go down to the part where it says more. That says photos. You're gonna click on the photos. But I know it's a lot of information you're overloading, but. Anyway, click on your photos, then click on albums, click on the album, and it's underneath the flowers in the garden or what we're doing. We're growing our Facebook page. That's what my main goal is. Right now, we have 1K followers. I don't see 2K. So share everything. As Paige said, we're gonna be doing educational information on there, garden topics, sharing. If you want something on there that you don't see, let me know, or text me, hey, anything about tulip, anything about, and we'll put it out there. I've been watching a lot of reels because I don't sleep at night.
You're doing good.
So that's what I've been doing. And now I have a feed on my page of all kinds of plants. I was like, oh, this is fabulous information, I think. Why send it and share it on our Facebook page? To me, it's interesting. The next thing we're gonna do, if it's that, our goal is eventually, again, to have a payment page. So you can actually fill out the application online and then click a button, just like when we're on Amazon. You put it probably in the cart. I really don't know how that works yet. We'll find out. And eventually you'll be able to pay the $20 online. And Joanne will process it.
We'll also be adding, it may be, I'm not sure if it'll be separate or not, but eventually we would like to have a donate button on the Facebook page. Because we get people in the gardens that maybe don't want to become a member, but they would like to contribute to keeping up the gardens.
The other thing we talked about was getting a QR code. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's that square with all the wiggly lines in it. You take your smartphone, you go up to it. Our QR code would go automatically to our garden page. And people who are taking pictures for prom, people who are taking pictures during pumpkin fest, can post the pictures on our site. So we can share them and see what they're doing, and I think opening it up more to the public and socially to everybody. Yes?
I want to know about, I always ask people in the gardens if I can take their pictures.
Yeah.
What is there taking pictures of people?
Personally, I don't see anything. I take pictures of people, I try not to go straight on, but if you're in my painting class, I'll say, you don't mind if I post your picture on Facebook. But if you're in a group and you're in a public place, I do it. You cannot, as an educator, as you know, an educator, I will never post a child's picture. I'll take pictures from the back of their head unless I have permission from the parent. So never post, it's just not good in this world today. Hence, my grandchildren are not on there. My son is not allowed.
If somebody tags Franklin Garden Club in their own post with their children's pictures, they are giving permission because they tagged us.
Right.
But this is, if we're taking the pictures, it needs to be like for Winter Wonderland. I took some pictures of kids that were at the wagon picking out books, and sure that we came from the back so that you couldn't recognize or identify who the child is.
Right.
Or if you have, if you have an event for children that you want to be able to take pictures of the kids painting rocks or whatever, just make sure that you have releases
Right,
available.
exactly,
So that the
exactly.
parents can sign.
Yeah.
When I do it during my class, I just say, is it okay if I post something? They always go, oh yeah, no problem. So usually it's not an issue, but
But yet,
if it was my son,
When I worked with youth, that we had releases or they were from the back, so you're right, for Kids Day or something, we'll just have
That's
a
what I
mass
would
Have it, just an easy.
sign
yes,
in, yep,
just
yep.
a single little sheet.
And now this is the next, there's two pages you have to like, ours with the lilies and the bread buds, and then the next one, which is Claire primarily.
It's Brenda, and that's actually changing. Right now it's connected to Brenda's Facebook page. What we did, I started one that is actually connected to our garden club page. It is not able to be found yet because I just got Brenda as an admin. So once we get it up and running, then we'll start inviting members to switch over to that one.
This actually isn't, because there's only 2 members, myself and Brenda. So look for, there's a group of us, not me, Shirley and Gypsy and Sharon. There's a group of them on the back page there. So if you follow that one is a Franklin, I think we should put North Carolina into it. Yeah. Franklin Garden Club members page. On that page, we're saying like, it's not open to everybody out there. It's just our members. So like, come February, well, I would post it both places. Gypsy needs help in the garden. Gypsy needs a scarecrow. All right?
Gypsy needs help.
That's a given.
So that, it would be
SOS.
more information you don't want the public to know, but things that as a membership you need to know,
But
like,
that is attached to your Facebook. I mean,
not now.
But it will be.
It will be, yes, yeah, it's there, it's
really
just
hard
not
because we're not a
ready yet.
business, so each of us have put it under our own pages, and it's hard to take it away now, and then you have to.
This way it'll be together and we just pass it off to the next person, to the next person.
Might I also say, before we go on, that the monthly meetings I post on there as well, so that if you don't get it on the email and you're on your Facebook page, you can go there.
The other thing that we will be doing is, and I don't know what all Brenda's doing right now, but when you have a group on Facebook, you have the ability to add attachments. So we can actually have those attachments. So if there's forms that you need, agendas, minutes, whatever, we will have those as attachments that can be downloaded.
And right now on that page, if you go there and like it, and somebody will have to okay you, I'm sure some of you have done that to pages. They'll okay you and put you on it. You can see the Franklin Garden Club bylaws are on there right now. So if you have any, any questions about where we're going, what we're doing, who's responsible for what,
Are we doing